All right, right now it's time for Trending Now with Olamide. Olamide, what's trending now?
Guys, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
How's your weekend?
Beautiful. That's
awesome. As usual, if it's trending, we're talking about it. TVC always has our finger on the pulse. Tragedy struck over the weekend when an officer of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Assistant Superintendent Aminu Salisu Sahabi, was shot dead and another was critically injured during an operation in Anambra State. The suspect, identified as Dr. Chukwuka Nnamdi, a medical practitioner from Oka, was apprehended on Saturday. Police sources have revealed that he was hiding in the ceiling of his neighbor's house at the time of the arrest. Meanwhile, the late Mr. Sahabi, who had just completed a promotional exam and was getting ready for his wedding, has been buried in Sokoto State, his hometown. Many online critics are arguing that invasive night raids, like the one that led to this tragedy, exacerbate tensions and endanger lives. Others are demanding a complete overhaul of the agency's operational procedures to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Let's take a closer look at what Nigerians are saying online. EFCC yesterday evening came out with a press statement and explained their side of things. And as you can see, this is up here. They did say that from all indications, it looked as though Dr. Nnamdi was involved with some illegal coding, according to them. We'll take another tweet right now. So this is the EFCC coming out to give their side of the story. Someone online said, first of all, don't delete the CCTV footage. We need to see it. Secondly, can we see an arrest warrant for the individual in question? Thirdly, when will your officer start wearing body cam if truly you want to raid in the night? And I hope you will always provide body cam footage. Interesting. We'll take another tweet now. I think body cams have been extremely helpful in the Western world. In America, we've seen body cams really help these sorts of cases. Celebrity lawyer activist Adeyanju Deji says, you will spend a minimum of 5 years in prison to explain self-defense, considering how slow the legal system is here. And it's not a guarantee your story will fly in court. They might plant evidence that you are a criminal during arrest. Speaking both as a lawyer and a victim of the system here. Now, Dr. Nnamdi, he's probably going to pledge self-defense, as he has said that he was defending himself and his family against the EFCC, who he thought were intruders. Do we have another tweet? We'll take that right now. That's all we have for right now. This story has really set social media ablaze, and it highlights the ongoing tension between EFCC and Nigerians. What do you guys think about this? Somebody has unfortunately lost their lives, but another man was protecting his family. Penny, for your thoughts, please, Ms. Veronica.
Okay, from my perspective, I was just reading the statement that the EFCC put out, talking about how sad it is that Nigerians are reacting in the manner they are reacting. Firstly, with the soul of the departed officer, rest in peace. But I think the EFCC needs to reel out how its operations runs, educate Nigerians on how it runs its operations, because we recall that sometime in 2023, there was a statement coming from them saying that there was an end to sting operations. And so how this fits into that statement that they put out now is now the question that a lot of Nigerians are raising, that if they had gone at the time they should have gone, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. And so there's been a lot of narrative out there that isn't really painting the commission in a good light. So I think that a lot of explanation has to be done to clear the air on where they stand with regards to this operation. Of course, the doctor is said to be involved in something shady that is not clear legitimately, so that has to be cleared, and that the weapon he has, that it was he had something with regards to that in terms of backing, a document backing he having that weapon. Why? No one understands, but that's what the situation is, and we can only hope that the soul of the departed rest in peace.
There's any reasonable justifiable ground for anyone to have killed a security official or an agent who is after, because I do not understand the essence of you going to arrest someone and then getting killed in the process. There is no specific time to arrest a criminal. If you're found to be a fraudster, if you're found to be someone who is against the, the integrity of this nation, you can be picked up anytime, any day. So I do not buy the narrative by Nigerians who are saying, yes, how did they get there? What were they doing? They should release, whether they have an arrest warrant or anything. All these things are not really tenable, to start with. So I'm sure that EFCC, they've released a lot of statements, they've released a lot of information. In fact, they're supposed to even have a media chat later today. It has been postponed indefinitely. So a whole lot has actually happened in the process. But at the end of the day, we want to get to the root of the matter, and this person, this culprit must be prosecuted if found wanting of this criminal act.
Thank you so much for that, Ibrahim. I will say that no matter the circumstance, we have to remember that this was still a Nigerian in the line of duty that lost his life. And so may his soul rest in perfect peace. Right. Moving on to our next story. The festive excitement of Dirty December has left an unpleasant taste for some Nigerian entrepreneurs who found Dirty December a little too dirty. As diasporans return to their home countries after lavish spending during the holiday season, reports emerged of disputes led with foreign banks to avoid being debited for purchases they made in Nigeria. This practice exploits Nigeria's reputation as a hotspot for cybercrime, and many foreign banks who were wary of potential fraud swiftly reversed these transactions, leaving hard-working Nigerian business owners unpaid for their goods and services that they've already delivered. Now, this situation has gained traction online, with entrepreneurs sharing their financial frustration. Let's take a look at some of the social commentary surrounding this issue. I know I would not be happy if I give out a good or a service and somebody reported it and didn't give me my rightful money. That is unfair. This is one of the entrepreneurs who says, "We had an I just got back file a $2,000 chargeback. It was when immigration held her at the airport that she sent the funds back through the app Zelly. You genuinely have to use all the tools at your disposal. In such a hard economy, this must be it makes them distraught." We'll take another tweet now. I'm sorry about that, Eche. Someone else says, "Not all are malicious. I've had debits on my foreign accounts presented in an obscure way when I spend abroad, which leads me to doubt the spend. So sometimes, depending on the bank, the way transactions are represented can often lead one to not recognize a legitimate spend," which is very true. But if one or two or three entrepreneurs have come out to say this same thing, then we have to, it's a red flag. This is clearly a menace. Do we have another tweet for that? Someone else says, "Unknowing any foreign bank, once they see Nigeria, they actually believe the dispute, really bad behavior." It's true. It seems as though they're capitalizing on our reputation. What do you guys think about this? I mean, poor business owners, in these hard times, they're going through this.
It's a sad one, really. Our reputation now rubbing off on businesses is quite sad. And some people led us to this point that is now biting hard on other people's businesses. And this is why it's important that we perhaps behave ourselves in such a reputable manner, such that we will not be finding these kinds of issues. I mean, you came to Nigeria, we've been talking about Dirty December and how we're looking to harness it and what government can do to ensure that we'll benefit from it, be it businesses, individuals, and the likes. And now we are seeing these kinds of issues as a result of reputation. I do hope that our government can do something about it, because this is a huge sum's been lost.
Well, the whole idea about Dirty December, I think it actually made it attractive for a whole lot of people who are outside Nigeria, find Nigeria, a tourist area, saying that they want to come to Nigeria, spend this money. Is due to the foreign exchange, because they found Nigerian naira very, very low when it comes to, at the point of FX. So that's why they can come here and spend a whole lot. At the same time, robbing us of our own, do I say common patrimony, robbing entrepreneurs and all of that. It's really not so good. Reputation is very, very key. The fact that you're within Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians will be saying Nigeria is very bad, may this country never happen to you. But you are the country. You are the one whose name, the name that you carry actually tells a lot about you, not just you, about your country. So I think we should just be good ambassadors wherever we are, because if the government is not watching, if our parents are not watching, if Nigerians are not watching, just know that God is watching you. For those who are theists, probably I'm not talking to the atheists, but then learn to be kind, learn to be truthful, learn to be honest in everything that you do.
Unfortunately, in this story, our reputation preceded us. I hope that they get their money back. For our next story, we're going to delve into the buzz around UK personality, Kemi Badenoch.
There we go.
She's the Conservative Party leader, and it seems that here on Trending Now, we can't help but amplify her bold statements, because this is the first time I'm doing a story on her. In her first speech of the year, Badenoch, who was born in Nigeria, voiced fears about the UK falling victim to what she called terrible governments like Nigeria's. She warned that without urgent reforms, Britain could face similar systemic failures. Now, social media, unsurprisingly, is divided. While some Nigerians expressed outrage at her portrayal of the country, others acknowledged the kernel of truth in her critique, pointing out that systemic issues in Nigeria do exist. Let's take a look at what social media has to say. Ms. Kemi Badenoch, as usual. Spokesperson for the Nigerian presidency, Mr. Boala Daniel, says, "I truly wish that Sister Kemi Badenoch would avoid denigrating Nigeria, the country of her origin, as a weapon to please her far-right base. Rishi Sunak never weaponized the gang rape and other vices in India, the country of his origin, just so he would impress the far-right base. She is smart, intelligent, and we are proud of her rise in the politics of the UK. But we are equally saddened by her terrible rhetoric against Nigeria." He kept it very polite, and I truly respect that, Mr. Boala Daniel. We'll take another tweet now. Mr. Victor Frank Edger says, "Kemi speaks the truth. Only the guilty conscience cannot handle the truth." Do we have another tweet for that? Another user says, "Don't worry about Kemi. When the party is done using her to achieve their immigration agenda against Africa and win back majority in the House, they will dump her and choose a white PM. She is seeking for attention from the most populous black nation in the world, Nigeria." I believe we have one last tweet here, and I believe that this tweet was quite apt. Somebody says, "The constant attack reeks of opportunistic pandering to her far-right base, but we must also acknowledge that Nigeria faces significant challenges foisted on us by our leaders." That is a fair point, and that is a balanced representation of the issue. In our final story, I have some good news for you guys. The TikTok ban has been lifted. Just 12 hours after going offline in the US, TikTok is back, almost like it never left. Now, the app, which became inaccessible late Saturday night, has resumed operations, attributing its return to the intervention of President-elect Donald Trump. Now, users logging back in were greeted with a message saying, "Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the US." On Saturday, American users attempting to access the platform were met with a message stating that the app was offline and urging them to stay tuned. Now, this sudden return has sparked speculation about last-minute negotiations and what this means for TikTok's future in the US. I'm a TikTok girl, as I've said many times on Trending Now. Let us take a tweet or two surrounding this issue. One user says, "This was basically a PR stunt to make Trump look good. Mind you, he was the main one pushing for the ban a few years ago. You didn't lie, Poppy." We'll take another tweet. Someone says, "Ooh, TikTok down for less than 24 hours. Meanwhile, it took 15 months to get a ceasefire agreement in Gaza." Thank you so much for that, Charlie. Another user says, Madawa Man says, "The banning and unbanning of TikTok is just political maneuvering. The USA knew that by threatening to ban it, ByteDance would agree to sell TikTok to Americans, but it has turned out differently. ByteDance is prepared to lose the American market, but not to sell TikTok." Now, I know that Veronica is not really big on TikTok, but what do you guys think about this, and also about the Kemi Badenoch issue? Penny, for your thoughts.
Right, so I will begin with Kemi Badenoch. I think that she's just sailing on the winds of Nigeria and wanting to use that to gain traction, trust, and whatever it is she wants to achieve. So I just think that we should stop giving her that attention. She just needs us to achieve something. We are a means to an end for her, from my perspective. But I think that we should stop and just ignore and then do what we need to do on the home front. That's for Kemi Badenoch. Now for TikTok. Yes, Donald Trump had said that he wanted to ban this in his first administration, but suddenly during his campaigns, it seemed they warmed his heart, warmed their way to his heart, and he feels like, okay, let's have an arrangement, a long-term arrangement perhaps. That's what they're looking forward to, so that TikTok can be in the US. Well, he has won it now. He has gotten what he wants to achieve with it. And he also mentioned that the platform was one way he was able to reach the young persons who may not necessarily want to participate in campaigns, politics, and all of that. But that was how major platforms, news platforms, were able to reach young persons. And so he is seeing the need to have it now politically. And so he's having a handshake with these persons. In fact, there are talks that the TikTok CEO might be part or might attend his inauguration later today. Sure. But I think that all in all, the safety of or security of the data of persons on the platform is the major issue, because security was the concern. And so if that has been addressed, I think I don't have any problem.
Well, I have a lot to say, but I think the time will not help me to say a lot. But let me start from Auntie Kemi Badenoch. She, just like you said, I would see her as an opportunistic critic, expatriate, someone who, well, I don't pray to go outside of the country no matter what and then point at my father's house, with the left hand. It's not typical of someone who is from the Southwest. TikTok, Trump actually tried to ban it in 2023. He said he's going to ban it, and then most of us are not talking about the real issue. TikTok is actually doing this. US is actually doing this because of the anti-Semitism. If you go to TikTok, you see that there's a whole lot of loud voice of the genocidal Israeli regime, the killing of the Palestinians, the women, children, and all of that. That is the major reason, because it's the same thing Facebook is doing. They say China, ByteDance is mining data. Facebook, Instagram, they're also mining data. So that's why I said I have a lot to say, but I just hope that, with this viewpoint of mine, I'm able to...
So much is going on all of
learn something new with you guys.
Yeah, right. So much is going on all of the platforms. Absolutely. And so security and safety is key. Thank you, Olamide, because our time is up.
We need
to quickly
Thank you, Olamide. These are very, very fantastic stories. Yeah.